Hello everyone, it's Jacqueline again. I hope you guys can see me. Sorry, I am sitting in front of the window enjoying the beautiful weather today. As a reminder, my internship is at what used to be known as the Lot, but is now Fishkill Center for Rehab and Nursing. It's a short-term and long-term unit. So today I had an interesting week. My field instructor has been out of the office this week, so I've been working with the other social worker as well as the supervisor. And something interesting this week. So it's been very busy. We've had a lot of discharges, a lot of intakes. There's been a lot going on with some of the patients, a lot of care plans. We also have an internal investigation going on where we had to speak with the residents that were higher functioning about their narcotics. And I was down on the unit today doing some paperwork for a new admission, and I had one of the nurses and a few of the aides say how friendly I am and how I always try and take, the team approach, and I never, I'm yelling at somebody to do something. I always try and ask, very nicely instead of saying, like, why are you guys sitting over there? You should be doing this. I always try and come from a positive approach. And as I was sitting there and kind of listening to them, number one, it made me feel really good inside. But two, I really began thinking, and what I explained to them is, for me, I'd rather come from a team approach. I feel like if I just come in, even though I'm a student social worker, as a social worker and barking orders and telling people what to do, it's not a team approach. People are not receptive. They don't want to help you instead of, coming in and just, not to say that you can't be tough, but coming from a positive way. I don't get upset when somebody says, oh, can you do this? Or you forgot to do this. I always try and take it as positive criticism. And I went upstairs and I really started to think, like, I hope everybody else, does everybody else have a team approach at their placement? Or do you kind of feel like it's just you by yourself, or just you and your field instructor if your field instructor is on site? I just want to really hear what everybody's feedback is on teamwork. I mean, for me, coming from my previous job for 4.5 years as a caseworker, I always found that when it's teamwork, everybody gets, the goal done a lot faster. Like today when the supervisor asked if I could help out with some other BIMs of patients that I maybe have heard of, but I don't really know, and if I could help interview some of the patients, I absolutely said, of course. Oop, I apologize, those are my dogs. Hey, what was I saying? Instead of just looking at my supervisor and saying, no, I'm sorry, I have my other things to do, I said, absolutely, what do you need me to do? What phone calls do you need me to do? Number one, I felt I'm learning and getting more practice. And two, it takes a little bit of stress off her so she can deal with bigger issues. Again, I think team approach is so important. I also think building relationships in the workplace is important. I always try and pride myself of saying good morning to all the aides, all the nurses, all the people in rehab, and trying to keep everybody informed. I had a patient today who had specific medical questions, and I could tell the nurse manager was really stressed out. And instead of just kind of going in there and being like, hey, I need to talk to you about so-and-so, I tried to go in there in a positive way and said, hey, I know that you're really busy. I see you running around, but do you just have 5 minutes we can talk about this patient? Or, at some point today before I leave, and she turned around and said, yeah, absolutely. Can you come back in an hour? And we were able to have, a positive discussion about the specific resident. I felt like if I told her right then and there I needed her time, I'm kind of making her feel like, not that her time is invaluable, but that I have such an important, question, and it really could have waited an hour. So I think it's just really important, number one, to be aware how we interact with others at our placements, at our jobs. Always try and be friendly, always come to it with a positive attitude. And if you have an issue with somebody, instead of addressing it in front of everybody or in the unit, pull them aside and, take ownership. If you were rude, take ownership of it. I apologize, I was rude, or this is what was going on. I didn't mean, to come across that way. But it just, got me thinking, and I kind of just want to hear everybody's feedback about a team approach, either in your placement or your job, Do you think it's a good thing, a bad thing? What are your experiences with it? So I look forward to hearing everybody's stories. Thanks, guys. Have a good week.